A single nation can only be represented by a single flag. Now, there are those who say that a flag is just colour on fabric. Wrong, wrong, wrong. A flag represents our shared values as a community. It's what brings us together. It's what 103,000 ex-servicemen and ex-servicewomen have died fighting for. Now, obviously, as a nation, we are more divided than at any time since World War II. The share of our population born overseas at 1/3 is the highest of any comparable nation, and the sectarian and ethnic conflict is turning us into a nation of tribes. That is why it's important now more than ever that we have our shared values and symbols to unite us together. The Union Jack represents the institutions that we all share and connect us to one another, passed down from our British inheritance. A parliamentary system of democracy, equality before the law, judicial fairness, and democratic representation codified in one person, one vote. The Federation Star represents each of the states, the coming together of those states to create a nation, and unique in the world, a nation for a continent and a continent for a nation. And the Southern Cross represents our place in the world, that Australia is not just an idea, but we are a real people in a real nation connected together. Unique also in the world, and something poorly understood among many, in part because of our school system, is that the flag that we love and is supported was a product not of politicians, not of the elites, but of the community. And attempts to change the flag have always been rejected and will always be rejected. An official Commonwealth flag competition was the world's first ever national flag design contest in 1900, which received some 32,823 entries, some 1% of the entire population of our nation at that time. And some 124 years later, support for our flag has never been higher. 71% of Australians believe our national flag unites us. 77% of Australians are proud of our national flag. And 75% of Australians want us to keep our national flag, while just 10% do not, which is, coincidentally, the same percentage of those who happen to watch the ABC. So in other words, hands off our flag. And Australians rightly expect that there will be consequences for the desecration of our flag. Now listen to this. 77% of Australians believe those who burn the flag, it should be criminalised. And that includes 76% of those aged 18 to 24. So don't tell me about Generation Woke. 63% of Australians want people who burn the flag put in jail, and 71% believe that non-citizens who burn the flag should be deported. But it's not just support for our flag which is surging, so is support for our national day, Australia Day, which is on the 26th of January. Now, there are those...
Look, you mentioned the burning of the flag, and Philip Thompson has a motion, I think, actually, to criminalise the burning of the flag. And you said a lot of Australians would support it. And you've asked, well, we did ask what Australians' view are, and most of them do support the criminalisation of the flag. 77% said they want the burning of the flag to be made unlawful. And a lot of people will say, oh, isn't that just the oldies, the boomers and so forth, who are just thinking about the nostalgic good old days. But the numbers were the same for 18 to 24-year-olds.
Really?
So, yeah, it's really interesting. Like, we hear about this Generation Woke and things like that. And I've got a lot of concerns about, younger children and coming through school and university. But look, when you look at Australia Day, when you look at their attitudes towards political correctness or our shared symbols, there's a lot to be hopeful for in what they're telling us about what their beliefs are. So, yeah, 77% want it to be against the law to burn the flag, and 63% want people put in jail for doing that. I've got to say, I don't know whether people should be put in jail for it, but I do think it should be criminalised. I'm just interested in your perspective, Henry. What are your thoughts on the criminalisation of burning the Australian flag?
I'm a big believer in freedom of speech and, freedom of the protests and everything else. But I think when you get to the point where you're burning the Australian flag, I do believe that should be outlawed, and I don't necessarily think there should be a jail sentence involved in it. I'm intrigued to hear that such a high percentage think so. But I agree with Phil Thompson. I think that this, we need to send a clear message that we're not going to tolerate that. And I think the police around the country would actually welcome that as well. I'm sure they want to take action when they see that sort of behaviour undertaken. So I'm encouraging Phil to go further than a motion. I want him to bring a bill forward, and let's make it a federal crime to destroy the flag that represents our federal system.